About 7 years ago, I was in a car accident that literally took my life. And I was seeing the paramedics heard me make a noise and started working on me. Literally on the scene, bagged me back to life. And from that point on, of course, went to the hospital at OCH, where I was taken very well care of, and then shipped to Tupelo in the ICU there. And there I spent a little over a month and a half, 2 months, 2 weeks in critical care unit in a medically induced coma and paralytic state. In the beginning at OCH, the doctors told my family that there was absolutely no hope that I would live, that I had already started posturing, and what that is when your spinal cord is damaged, and basically that your body does some weird movements, and so that kind of gives you an indication that there's something going on that's probably going to lead that person into like either being in vegetative state or paralyzed. And so they told my parents that I would be paralyzed from neck down if I made it, but not to expect me to live, and also basically brain dead. Dr. McCauley received me at Tupelo at North Mississippi Medical Center, and basically I was a mess. I was broken from literally from leg up or neck down. So right leg was broken, all ribs were broken, thoracic vertebrae were broken, C4 and 5 were broken. My jawbone was broken and some teeth were pushed out. My clavicles were broken, my scapulas were broken. My lungs were both deflated. One was punctured due to the broken rib. My liver was lacerated nearly in 2. And my hand was broken in 8 different places. I think that's it. It was 17 degrees out that morning when we had the wreck, and so I laid on the ground, on very cold ground for a good bit of time. And so I had suffered hypothermia as well. So throughout another month at North Mississippi, Dr. McCauley took very well care of me, and I just simply started to recover. The only surgery I had was on my jaw. I had a plate and 6 screws in my jaw. Everything just started just healing, through I believe through the power of prayer. And I went through a lot during that period of time. I had a trach, I had chest tubes. So that was kind of a lot to deal with, not ever having anything like that happen to you. So once released from the hospital, I still had the trach. And what that is it's literally a hole in your trach, and you can kind of see the scar right there. And dealing with that was probably the hardest thing, because it was probably the longest thing that I dealt with. And just having, while in the hospital, having those type secretions kind of build up. You can't do anything about it because I couldn't cough and I couldn't get anything out. My teeth were wired shut. So you kind of feel like you're smothering a little bit, and it's kind of gross. And so the fear of that and just having to deal with that was overwhelming, but it made me so grateful for nurses that came in and helped and kept me comfortable. And when I got out and better and back on my feet, I definitely wanted to pursue a nursing career. That kind of pushed me toward it. And so we'll speed forward. I worked in labor and delivery during the time of the wreck. Well, I went back to labor and delivery after the wreck. And I was pulled to a floor one day while at work. It was a med-surg floor, and there was a patient in there, and I was just going to check on him, had no idea really what was going on with him. I wasn't briefed or anything, just walked in the room to check on him. And when I did that, I went in, hey, how are you doing today? And cut on the lights, and then I walk in, and he has a trach, and he can't speak back to me, but he's mentally okay. And So it kind of took me right back to that place. And I bent down right close to him and I said, I know where you're at. I was right there. And I know how frustrating it is to be in a world that you can't be a part of. And how scary it is to have all of this going on with you and not be able to control it. And he just looked at me, and I knew he knew, and where I was and where he was, and that connection was so special. And just to be able to be with someone who is in that situation that I have been in and be able to kind of help that person meant the world to me, and that just fired me right along. I really I pushed for to go into the nursing career at that point, for sure. I want to start out on a med-surg floor. I think a graduate nurse should probably start out on a med-surg floor, because I think that's where you learn more of your skills, and you can kind of critique those and get better at those. And I want to be put in situations that I've never been put in and learn as much as I possibly can learn. Then I would like to travel, eventually do travel and nursing. And then I would also, later in life, would like to open a personal care home, because geriatrics is my heart. And then maybe even teach what makes me a good nurse. I would say a good heart, a caring spirit, a servant. I think that's the base of any nurse, is just being a servant. I know how it feels to be in a world of your own, but surrounded by a world you were in at one time. Your family, friends around you, and you want to be a part of that world, and you can't be. And so many things, not being able to have a conversation with people during that time, it taught me so much about the patient who can't talk, or simply, like I was, with my teeth were wired shut and I had a trach nose, I couldn't talk. Or maybe a patient who one thinks, well, she's just older and she's not really in the world. People are still people, and they should be treated with respect and dignity. And that alone, just going through that, taught me that, and to continue to do that and carry that out through every day.